What's going on? So I'm gonna talk about Jane Kennedy Overton. She's got a book out called Plain Jane. If you didn't grow up with Jane Kennedy, then you wouldn't understand like when you see the likes of Pam Oliver and Robin Roberts and other African American women that are on sports news and what you see. Um, she was a groundbreaker. She was a trailblazer. She wasn't just an attractive woman who won Miss Ohio back in the early 70s. She was a respected journalist who she did film. She was well, where do I begin with Jane Kennedy Overton? Um, she did a little bit of everything. Now, her and her former husband Leon Isaac Kennedy were the it couple for us. They didn't even have terms for it back then because black couples and folks were barely getting bit roles and doing bit parts. So it wasn't like what you see now when you got more fluent. It wasn't a lot like that. You had Ruby D and Isaac Davis. You didn't have a big fluctuation. And they were a young couple and they did Body and Soul a movie together, and Leon had a little bit of a career going, had a career going, he was known. And she was coming along. And she was also, you remember the mini sequence of Let's Do It Again. She was bad, she doesn't get the same kind of vibe as Lynette McKee or Sheila Frazier or Pam Grier or some others soul sisters back in the day, but because she was kind of seen like eye candy and people didn't really know. But when she was on the CBS NFL with Brett Musburger, Irv Cross, and Phyllis George, she more than held her own. And she proved to be more than just arm and eye candy. And she did interviews with Muhammad Ali and others. And she was someone that made herself into a staple. She had an exercise video that was around the same time as Jane Fonda's, and it did quite well. She was doing different things. She was not limited by no stretch of the imagination. She was, you know, doing things and making a name for herself. Now, she also had a scandalous videotape that came out. I know nowadays it ain't nothing, but back in the day, that could just wreck your career. Because between Jane Kennedy Overton and Vanessa Williams, can you tell me of two other soul sisters or black folk people that overcame a scandalous, salacious tape, but yet got even bigger? Because she was one of them, her and Vanessa Williams. If they want to share that in common, and that's something to think about, that just because something that comes out and how people get funny with the money and people start to distance themselves in the businesses, it doesn't mean it's the end of your career or your review. She hasn't really been in the limelight like that in years, but she made enough of a mark where she definitely made her presence felt and showed a very strong spirit that wouldn't back down. And now she's a grandmother and she's a mother to daughters, and her husband and her have been together almost 40 years. And you still remember her and Leon Isaac Kennedy if you go back, but you almost forget because it's been so long. But yet, she still glows, she's still radiant, and she definitely left a mark and a spirit that can't be denied. And uh, the book is called Plain Jane, but there was nothing plain about Jane Kennedy. Mm-mm. Um, Definitely a class act and someone who overcame so many and broke so many barriers for a black woman at that time. See, you see black women reporters and journalists more now, but there's still a plantation mindset. But you imagine when she had it and how she looked and the whole woo woo woo, and to still be in that mindset with the Jimmy the Greeks and that old white racist mindset. There's a lot of it back then that she had encountered, and she paved the way for a lot. She showcased the beauty and the brains, and also the know-how and the knowledge. So just wanted to take the time to acknowledge. Uh, and the book came out recently, but it was great to see her again. It's always good to see someone that you grew up watching, and she's giving you a fresh perspective. She's not holding anything back. She's keeping it 100, and you gotta respect her and respect the whole thing. And the cool thing is that she and Leonardo Kennedy are still cool. They still cool after all this time. And she and Bill Overton are going strong, so much respect. But she had a spiritual foundation. You could definitely tell that she's been a blessed soul and she overcame a lot, especially in a male dominant and one sided and racism and all the isms that you can think of, which wasn't that long ago for what she encountered. But she paved the way for quite a few. She paved the way for men too. Because you got to understand, there was a Brian Gumble, but there was a Jane Kennedy, and she countered that. And she was able to mix into different worlds, make it into a real socialite with a real career, not just somebody who was just known for something. She actually had a lot. So she opens up and tells the truth about what she experienced, and it's real talk. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments that I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share the video if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm all time. Peace.